Lawyers have a special talent for crafting brutal and brilliantly worded responses, but sometimes you deserve it, you nasty, nasty litigant. But let's take a moment to appreciate the art in a well-crafted legal nastygram, and join me on a tour of some of the most legendary legal FU letters ever written. Now, few lawyers have used words as effectively as Stephen B Kapllet. Many attorneys consider his response to the town of West Orange as the greatest legal takedown ever written. It all started when Jake Freiwald, a resident of West Orange, New Jersey, who described himself as a pain in the ass, decided to have some fun with the town's leaders. Freiwald made a website complaining about a local realtor, ran for town council, and criticized one of the area's local newspapers. But tensions escalated when he launched a website dedicated to West Orange. WestOrange.info was a simple site, listing places where residents could access local news and engage in community discussions. And let's face it, in 2013, a .info site was not exactly a candidate to become the next AOL. But Richard Trenk, the attorney for West Orange, saw the site as a declaration of war. Trenk sent a cease and desist letter informing Freiwald that, quote, "The township interprets this action as an effort by you to confuse and conflate the township's official domain name and website with the info domain that you maintain." Trenk alleged that Freiwald's website could, quote, "cause confustion." Yes, he did misspell confusion, and that the site, quote, "may be in violation of the township's federally protected rights." Now, pro tip, if someone says you violated their federal rights but doesn't name what those rights are or provide you with a statute, they probably don't know what they're talking about. So Freiwald took his grievances to a public meeting where he asked a pointed question.
Should the town attorney know about the .gov domain, specifically that, if they really wanted to avoid combustion, they could use westorange.gov or westorangenj.gov, which only government organizations are allowed to register?
Turns out, no, the town attorney did not know the law in this area, so Kapllet schooled him. He asserted that the letter was surely a joke, quote, "The world can certainly use more legal satire. Bravo, Mr. Trenk." And Kapllet continued the smackdown in the next paragraph, quote, "Since Mr. Freiwald had not previously encountered a humorous lawyer, he actually thought your letter might be a serious effort by the township to protect its legitimate interests. Rest assured, I've at least convinced him that it was certainly not some impulsive, ham-fisted attempt to bully a local resident solely because of his well-known political views. After all, as lawyers, you and I both know that would be flagrantly unconstitutional and would also, in the words of my 4-year-old, make you a big meanie." Kapllet then threw some shade on West Orange's official website. Quote, "Had you intended for your letter to be taken seriously, we would have sent in a response something along the following lines. As is evident from the attached homepage snapshots, the township's website is a virtual masterpiece developed by Icon Enterprises, which cost the taxpayers $35,000. By contrast, my client's rudimentary website cost $3.17, is so minimalist it arguably qualifies as modern art." But Kapllet wasn't done. Quote, "I can't believe I have to explain this, but here goes. After nearly a century of First Amendment jurisprudence, it is well settled that content-based restrictions on free speech by the government are subject to strict scrutiny, and will only be upheld if they promote a compelling state interest." And Kapllet challenged Trenk to provide any legal authority for the proposition that westorange.info infringed on the town's rights. Quote, "If you manage to produce supporting authority that even remotely passes the laugh test, I will donate $100 in your honor to the ACLU." Obviously, Trenk couldn't come up with the goods. And Kapllet saved some of his best material for the PS and PPS. He writes, quote, "PS, as long as we're chatting, I hereby demand from the township a refund of my $28,763.22 for excess property taxes." Then in the PPS, Kapllet says, quote, "Wait, I have a better idea. I just learned that westorange.gov is still available for just $125. Since the whole refund thing might trigger a stampede if word got around, instead, how about if I form a limited liability company to conceal my identity and then use it to license westorange.gov from the GSA. West Orange did not take him up on this offer, but the town of West Orange never bothered Kaplet's client again. Now, some attorney letters are short, sweet, and righteous. For example, in the 1970s, Alabama Attorney General Bill Baxley raised the ire of local racists when he reopened the investigation into a Birmingham church bombing that resulted in the deaths of 4 African-American girls. The Klan, predictably, did not like that very much. And Edward R. Fields, a grand dragon in the KKK, sent a vile letter to Baxley. Fields said, quote, "We would like to congratulate you. You are now an honorary word I will not say on camera or anywhere else in the entire world." Now, Baxley, known for his unflinching integrity and grit, didn't hesitate in offering his own brand of justice. He fired off the perfect response. "Dear, quote, Dr. Fields, my response to your letter of February 19th, 1976 is, kiss my ass." Now, this was more than just a case for Baxley. It was personal. He carried a constant reminder of why he couldn't let that kind of hate fester unchecked. He wrote the 4 victims' names on a card he carried in his wallet. Their names were Addie Mae Collins, Denise McNair, Carol Robertson, and Cynthia Wesley. And a year after this exchange with Fields, a jury found Klan members Robert Chambliss guilty of the murders. And maybe in the perfect coda, in 1993, Fields founded a white supremacist political party called, I kid you not, the America First Party. Now, Cleveland sports fans aren't exactly known for their respectful demeanors. Cross them and they might burn your jersey on national TV or hit you with beer bottles. But one angry Browns fan, I mean, is there any other kind, took out his frustration with a combative letter about paper airplanes. Lawyer Dale O Cox was a Browns season ticket holder, and on November 18, 1974, he wrote to stadium owner Art Modell complaining about his experience. His letter is a pretty standard "I'm putting you on notice" form letter. He says, quote, "It appears that one of the pastimes of several fans has become the sailing of paper airplanes generally made out of the game program. As you know, there is a risk of serious eye injury and perhaps ear injury as a result of such airplanes. Several of your ushers and policemen witnessed the same. Since you are in a position to control or terminate such action on the part of fans, I will hold you responsible for any injury sustained by any person in my party attending one of your sporting events." Now, frankly, at the time, paper airplanes were probably the least of your worries at Cleveland Municipal Stadium. The Browns shared the stadium with the Cleveland Indians, and earlier that summer, the baseball team presided over one of America's most infamous sporting disasters, the 10-cent beer night. The drinking age at the time was just 18, so I don't know what they thought would happen when they offered Clevelanders the chance to buy 6 cups of beer per purchase with no limit on how many purchases could be made during a 9-inning game. But as you can imagine, the result was pure chaos. Fans lobbed lit cherry bombs into the Texas Rangers dugout. A female streaker appeared in the on-deck circle and tried to kiss the umpire. A male streaker slid into second base. Ouch. And it all culminated in a 9th-inning riot where hundreds of fans stormed the field to protest a bad call.
Now it's a full-scale riot. There has to be 200 people and more coming on the field.
Some fans had knives, chains, and clubs. Again, this was Cleveland, so it was the fashion at the time. And the Rangers players had to use their bats to defend themselves. Rioters retaliated by throwing metal chairs, and eventually the police had to use tear gas to clear the place out. So in context, Cox wasn't just complaining about paper airplanes. 10-cent beer night put the stadium's owners on notice that people would sue if they were injured because the owners couldn't control their fan base. So Cox might have been gearing up to file some lawsuits. But the stadium's general counsel was unbothered. He fired back just 3 days later with a response that Deadspin and FindLaw hailed as the greatest legal comeback letter of all time. It reads, quote, "Dear Mr. Cox, attached is a letter that we received on November 19th, 1974. I feel that you should be aware that some asshole is signing your name to stupid letters. Very truly yours, Cleveland Stadium Corp., James N. Bailey, General Counsel." Now, Bailey's letter has taken on urban legend status, but Snopes confirmed in 2010 that it was indeed real. And as for Dale Cox, he wound up getting something better than a few personal injury clients. He used the stadium's response against opposing counsel for the rest of his career. Now, if you want to send a legal nastygram, you're going to want a good lawyer. But if you want a great lawyer, my law firm, the Eagle Team, can help. If you've gotten in a car crash, suffered a data breach, especially if you got one of those data breach letters saying your information might have been leaked, or dealing with a workers' comp or social security issue, we can represent you or help find you the right attorney. And by the way, we don't get paid unless you do, so there's nothing up front. So just click on the link in the description or call the phone number on screen for a free consultation with my team. Because you don't just need a legal team, you need the Eagle Team. Now, you last saw lawyer and SCOTUS blog founder Tom Goldstein when the Justice Department indicted him on 22 counts of tax evasion, filing false tax returns and making false statements to mortgage lenders. And while Goldstein built his reputation publishing dry legal analysis to the Supreme Court, his true passion lies in ultra-high-stakes poker. And apparently his ventures into the professional gambling world introduced him to wealthy high rollers, including billionaire poker buddy Dan Bilzerian, who threw a naked woman off a roof in 2014. Now, you might assume that Bilzerian went to prison for that, but he did not. It turns out that the woman, adult film actress Janice Griffith, had signed a contract with Hustler agreeing to be thrown off the roof. And when she broke her foot in the fall, she threatened to sue Bilzerian for $85,000. And apparently Bilzerian hired Goldstein to send Griffith a nasty letter. Goldstein asserted that she had no claim because, quote, she was under contract to Hustler and agreed with Hustler's request that she be photographed while being thrown off of the roof. I always thought this kind of thing was photoshopped instead. Perhaps Hustler's editorial standards would not permit it. Perhaps she insists on doing her own stunts. I really do not know. Goldstein then inadvisedly made fun of the circumstances of the fall, saying, quote, "So, like your client, the facts of the claim won't quite fly. The tape shows the two carefully practicing this flight of fancy under Hustler's direction, and your client expressly agreeing to go ahead. In legal lingo, she assumed the risk." And Goldstein blamed Griffith for trying to stop her fall instead of just going with the flow and falling flat into the pool. He says, quote, "The tape shows that she did the one thing that she had been explicitly told in advance would stop her from making it into the pool. She grabbed Mr. Bilzerian's shirt. Now, I'm no physicist, and it won't surprise you that I don't have any relevant personal experience, so I don't know the precise amount of thrust it takes to heave someone across to a pool floor below. It is apparent that Mr. Bilzerian's shirt did not reach out and grab her. As I said, I don't doubt your client was genuinely hurt when she clipped the edge of the pool." But Goldstein did question whether Griffith was really hurt, since she kept posting about her adult film exploits. Quote, I don't run in the same circles, but like a lot of people, I do have Twitter, and with all due respect, she overshares. I can't bear to describe what is on her eponymous account, the Janice XXX. I will save you the embarrassment of looking yourself. Just trust me that her recent missives with the hashtags not safe for work, the others are safe for work, suggests that her career is gangbusters. Now, given what subsequently happened to Tom and the fact that he is probably going to jail, I'm sure that he did probably do the research, viewed the posts and videos, and billed Bilzerian for that time. And Goldstein closed the letter with a paragraph that can only be described as a masterclass in assholery. Quote, your client should just box up almost every last bit of her property, please exclude all videos and photographs, as well as the seemingly inevitable small yappy dog, and drop it off with you in safekeeping for Mr. Bilzerian. After he receives the judgment in his favor, he will have it all delivered to him. Then he will probably blow it up with a mortar in the desert. I enjoyed our brief correspondence. Yeah, it turns out Tom Goldstein was not as good of a lawyer as he thought he was. Griffith did end up suing Hustler and Bilzerian anyway. Hustler claimed that the injury was an act of God and that Bilzerian should be held financially responsible if the jury awarded Griffith damages. And although Goldstein predicted the case would get thrown out of court, Griffith got the last laugh when Hustler and Bilzerian settled the claim for an undisclosed amount of money. Now, practicing law is filled with highs and lows. The daily grind of making a living doing battle can wear on a person. And that's the only explanation I can come up with for why Los Angeles patent attorney Andrew Schroeder attacked a patent examiner with such hatred it should have destroyed his whole career. In 2013, Schroeder was fighting to secure a patent for his client's telescoping tripod sprinkler cart. Standing in his way was examiner Alexander Valvis, a gatekeeper at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, the federal agency that grants patents and trademarks. Valvis's job was to decide whether an invention was truly novel or not. And when Valvis rejected the patent, Schroeder sent the following letter, quote, are you drunk? No, seriously, are you drinking scotch and whiskey with a side of crack cocaine while you examine patent applications? Heavy emphasis on the quotes. Do you just mail merge rejection letters from your home? Is that what taxpayers are getting in exchange for your services? Have you even read the patent application? I'm curious, because you either haven't read the patent application or are, in a word that I'm not going to mention here. Big yikes. Now, the first rule of sending a mean letter on behalf of a client is to make sure that you don't piss off someone who has the power to hurt your client. And calling a patent examiner the R word probably did not have the impact Schroeder was looking for. And if you thought that sentence was unhinged, get a load of the next paragraph. Quote, since when did the USPTO become a post-World War II jobs program? What's the point of hiring 2,000 additional examiners when 2,000 rubber stamps would suffice just fine? So tell me something, Corky. What would it take for a patent application to be approved? Do we have to write patent applications in crayon? Does a patent application have to come with some sort of pop-up book? Do you have to be a family member or some big law firm who incentivizes you with some other special deal? What does it take, Corky? Now, once Schroeder's letter made the rounds over the internet, it disappeared from the official USPTO file. But Schroeder did not hide his face in shame, which is what he probably should have done. Instead, he attacked the person who published the letter, University of Missouri law professor Dennis Crouch. Schroeder called Crouch, quote, Dickhead of the Year for 2013 and accused him of sharing the letter that was meant to be confidential, quote, this was a confidential letter and anyone who tells you anything to the contrary is full of shit. I don't give a fuck what they tell you. Yeah, but here's the thing. Patent records aren't confidential. As legal journalist Joe Patrice confirmed, quote, everything involved in a patent application is public record as soon as the application publishes. But personal attacks aren't the best strategy for winning friends or clients. But considering Schroeder's entire practice revolved around securing patents for water sprinklers, it's possible America's sprinkler inventors found it, well, effective. And while personal attacks might grab attention, sometimes the best legal moves come from being cool under pressure. Now, this next legal FU letter is a real Hall of Famer because it wasn't even written by a lawyer. In fact, this legal beatdown was penned by a brewer who probably had one too many bottles of the letter's subject matter, Hoposaurus Rex. We cover this letter and more in our exclusive companion video that you can only watch on Nebula, the sponsor of today's video. You can get a lifetime membership. You can buy once and then never again. It's the greatest steal of all. Now, we've been really active on Nebula this year with tons of Nebula exclusive videos, like our analysis of how RFK Jr. can legally and not legally ban vaccines, or our video on unhinged judges that went too far. It's also the only place to watch my feature-length documentary, Bad Law Words Good, and a bunch of videos about lawsuits and topics that are way too not safe for work for YouTube. Because on Nebula, you can watch all of our videos ad-free and early, because our videos always go up on Nebula first. And you can check out tons of original videos from your favorite creators like Johnny Harris, Neo, Jetlag, Real Engineering, Real Life Lore, and hundreds more. One of my favorites is the Nebula original series Modern Conflicts by Real Life Lore, and they just released a gripping documentary about the manhunt for El Chapo. I highly recommend checking that out. Because what's truly special about Nebula is that it is a creator-owned platform built by me and other YouTubers and podcasters, and because it's a subscription service, we get to work on larger, higher budget productions than we ever could anywhere else. It's becoming the go-to place where creators can make content that their audiences love, free from the constraints of community guidelines or any unwanted outside pressure. And for those of you that want to share everything Nebula has to offer with your friends and family, Nebula is now offering an annual gift card. If you sign up using the link that's on screen right now, you can give a year of Nebula to a friend for 40% off the yearly subscription. That's a year of the best content for just $36. And that's a gift that you can give to yourself, by the way, because you deserve it. Or you can check out the lifetime subscription where for $300, you can get access to Nebula forever. We're investing in even more big concept, high-octane Nebula originals, and your lifetime subscription goes towards that investment. In a way, Lifetime is the best possible deal of all. But either way, you'll get access to my videos early, get access to exclusives, and support the ambitious projects that my friends and I are working on our own streaming site. So sign up now and get you or a friend 40% off or the incredible Lifetime deal by clicking on the link below. And after that, click on this link over here for more Legal Eagle, or I'll see you in court.